And they will start with Teddy Allen, along with Nate Pryor, Sir Jabari Rice, but he likes to go just by Jabari, Will McNair Jr., and Johnny McCants. And for the Sam Houston Bearcats, the home team in the white, trimmed in orange and black, they will line up with Savion Flagg, DeMarcus Lampley, Javion May, Tristan Ipe, and Jaden Ray. Tip controlled by New Mexico State, and the Aggies on the attack, moving from right to left to get things started tonight here at the Johnson Coliseum. Allen's first shot of the ball game is off the mark, a three-pointer, and the Bearcats come back the other way.
Phenomenal defense by May there, forcing Allen to take a difficult jump shot off the pick and roll. Savion Flagg also doing a nice job of forcing him to go above the screen, not giving an alley to drive.
Nice whip out pass, three from the left wing is good by Savion Flagg. Great setup by Jaden Ray, and the Bearcats get the first points of the ball game.
Flagg was an all-SEC performer at Texas A&M 2 seasons ago, got lost in translation with the Buzz Williams offense, but has found a home here in Huntsville and is delivering for Coach Hooten's team.
Jabari Rice's three ball banked in and spun out, no good. So it remains a 3-0 lead for the Bearcats. So back-to-back three balls shot by New Mexico State. Sam Houston, as Mike alluded to earlier, known for their defense. McCants almost with the steal. Here's Flagg, another three. Swish!
Flagg with back-to-back threes to start the game, coming off an impressive performance against SFA. He's second in the WAC in scoring at nearly 20 points per game, and he has 6 already 90 seconds into the contest.
Sometimes better to be lucky than good. Bearcats able to avoid the turnover and convert into a three. Here's McCants from out top. His three will not go. Rebound, ripping for it was Ipe. He fights for it on the floor with Rice. We get a jump ball, and alternating position will give the ball to Sam Houston.
Physical rebound down low by Ipke, who's going to have to play a major role for the Bearcats if they're going to pull this off. No one on Sam stands taller than about 6'6", 6'7", depending on if you're going to believe your eye test or the roster test,
right? Which
is a certain height disadvantage compared to the much bigger New Mexico State team.
New Mexico State, their 5 starters, the smallest player on the floor is Pryor at 6'3". Here's Flagg again over McCants. Can you do 3 in a row? No, air ball, rebound taken down by Green underneath.
I love the first 2 3-ball attempts from Flagg. Open looks. That one contested early in the shot clock. I believe Sam Houston can work to get a better offensive look than what we just saw from Flagg there. But hey, it's a heat check. He made his first 2. Sometimes you got to see what's going to fall.
Going. That's right. May that time a little bit too close on the body-to-body on the floor against Allen. Picks up an early foul. Something to watch on. He cannot afford to get cheap fouls. Good fouls are one thing, but cheap fouls are another. So here's Nate Pryor running the point. Pryor's been slowed by injuries and COVID. This year's only played in 9 games. You go down low for McNair. McNair on Ipe. Up with the left hand, won't get it. Rebound tipped around, and Ipe will control for the Bearcats.
That's a great gang rebound there by Sam Houston. 4 white jerseys were closest to the bucket as opposed to anyone in the black jersey, and that's what Sam's going to have to do to out-rebound a much bigger New Mexico State team.
So the Aggies have been down the floor 4 times. They've taken 4 shots and been 4 one-and-dones. Here's Lampley from inside the circle for 2.
That is a massive shot for Lampley, whose confidence is going to be crucial in this game. He was an all-preseason WAC performer, an all-South League Conference performer last year. Shot not falling as regularly as he would like, but when he's making shots, he's as good a scorer as anyone in the conference.
Fight for the rebound on the floor. McNair on the floor there with Lampley. They tie it up. It'll stay with New Mexico State as the floater by Pryor would not fall. But yeah, Lampley usually a better shooter than he has shown so far this year. Just 39% from the field overall and 35% from behind the arc. His percentages are usually higher than that.
He was an all-SLC first-team performer last year. Averaged 14 points, shot 45% from the floor, 40% from 3. Those numbers has decreased as teams have kind of targeted him and focused more on him defensively, but when he gets going, he's as lethal a shooter as there is in the entire WAC conference, and adding that dimension to Sam's offense could be a much-needed boost for a team that struggled, relatively speaking, to score with the likes of the best teams in the WAC.
And this is one of the things that Jason Hooten says that Lampley's got to get used to. players in the WAC, looking at this New Mexico State team, they're just bigger than what he's used to coming from the Southland Conference. He's used to guys his own size. Here in the WAC, guys are much bigger, and Ipe drives to the basket with the left hand. And the Bearcats out to a 10-0 lead.
The ideal start for Sam Houston, playing phenomenal defense, making 4 of their 5 first shots. And how about Ipe? A little bit undersized, as you just mentioned, going straight at the bigger defender and finishing with the left hand through contact. A really impressive play as New Mexico State gets on the board for the first time in this one.
Allen with the miss, but with the putback, Johnny McCants for New Mexico State's first points of the game. 4 minutes gone by, and it's an 8-point lead for the Bearcats, shooting 4 of 5 from the field as opposed to 1 of 7 for the Aggies.
Ipe attacked that matchup last time. This time decides to be a little more patient and set up with the offensive sets.
Flag with contact, going to be an offensive foul. Tightly guarded by McCants. And Flag will pick up the foul and bring us to our first officials timeout of the ball game. It comes with 15:42 in the opening half here in Huntsville. The Bearcats out to a quick early lead. Here at Johnson Coliseum, Sam Houston out to an early 10-2 lead over New Mexico State, which comes in riding a 10-game winning streak. A look into the Sam Houston huddle there and see if there he is. Just turned around, walking back to the right is head coach Jason Hooten, who wrote his name into the history books here at Sam Houston on Saturday with the win, 49-41 over arch rival Stephen F. Austin. It was his 226th career victory, most ever in Sam Houston history, as he moved past Bob Marlin for the all-time lead.
Coach Hooten has done a tremendous job building the program over the last decade here in Huntsville. The one thing missing from the resume, an NCAA tournament win. Outside of that, he's done just about everything you could ask for in a 12-year career at a mid-major program.
Pryor's drive to the basket was well defended, and again, it's a one and done as the Bearcats come down with the basketball. So far, Sam Houston's defense has been suffocating against this Aggie offense, which comes in averaging nearly 77 points a game. Almost a deflection by Donnie Tillman, who came in at the timeout. 3 ball from just the right side of center by Ray is no good. Back the other way will come the Aggies.
Not a bad look with the shot clock winding down. We actually saw Ray practicing that exact jump shot prior to tip-off with the assistant coaches, so a shot in his arsenal just didn't fall there for Ray.
Here's Green from the right side through the lane. Going to be a blocking foul, and it's going to be on Jaden Ray. He Ray's first, the 3rd foul against the Bearcats.
A half-step slow there by Ray stepping in. May was in pretty good position, making Allen take a big jump stop in the middle of the paint, kicking it out, which is exactly what you want from a Sam Houston defensive perspective. Just a half-step low on a pretty good help attempt there by Jaden Ray. Clayton
Henry comes in for Nate Pryor in the backcourt, and that is Henry with the inbounds pass. They eventually circulated over to Allen. Allen hounded by Javion May, and the pass goes out of bounds. And another turnover for the Aggies. That'll be their 3rd to go with 1 for 8 shooting.
Give May credit for hounding Allen, but also give DeMarcus Lampley for some immense weak side pressure there, forcing the errant pass, which was headed to Coach Hooten, which he'll take every day if New Mexico State wants to give
the ball. It's coming from the other guy, exactly. Not from one of his guys, but from one of theirs. And a traveling call against Savion Flag will give the ball back to New Mexico State here. 14-18 left here in the opening half. It's a quick start for Sam Houston.
You hate to give back a possession after forcing a turnover, but it ends up being a wash there after Savion Flag inadvertently steps on the out-of-bounds line right in front of the New Mexico bench.
This is Jabari Rice. He finds Henry. They go on the post. And with the lefty off the glass, no good, is Ulat Ulak. That's the name I'm going to have to work on. Graduate transfer from Coppin State. But again, it's a one and done as the Bearcats come down with the ball.
Another physical rebound there from Ipe, who has done a tremendous job so far dealing with the size disadvantage Sam Houston has. He's going to box out and be physical with some of those taller, lankier New Mexico State offensive rebounders. He'll be in a great position to continue to rack up rebounds throughout this contest.
Javion May, who's been hounding Teddy Allen for the first 6 minutes and 15 seconds of the game, checks out. Dante Powers will come in for the Bearcats. A little pressure half-court defense for New Mexico State, trying to see if they can get things going defensively to spur the offense. Here's Powers for three. Rims in and out, no good. Rebound fought for and taken down by Green. Allen, correct.
Great look against the 1-3-1 pressure there by New Mexico State. Sam doing a good job working the ball around the perimeter to Powers, who just like Lampley is struggling to find his shot, but those are the shots you can live with. A really good look, just have to convert now.
Rice guarded by Powers, tried to feed it underneath to Henry, and it's taken away by the Bearcats. They come back 3-on-3. Whoa, nice recovery by Lampley to save that from being a turnover.
Two great hustle plays in a row by Lampley to come up with the steal and then save that, which leads to a good look by Flagg, just can't knock it down.
25 feet, not good that time. Remains a 10-2 ball game. Here's Tillman back outside. Allen trying to work around Lampley. The floater from 15 is short. Ulach with the rebound. The putback right hand, no good. He gets it again. Put it up, no good. He gets fouled. 6-11. Those long arms kept getting the rebound.
That's the first time we've seen the height disadvantage really hurt Sam Houston underneath. Ipe had been doing a great job of boxing out, forcing those taller New Mexico State offensive rebounders away from the bucket, but Alak's arms just too long there as he was playing volleyball with himself at the rim.
He will go to the free throw line to shoot two, but perhaps the most important part of that play, the foul was called on Savion Flagg, and that is his second with 12:34 to go here in the first half. Flagg will come out, as will Tristan Ipe. Kuba Karwowski will check in the ball game. And also checking in is Damon Nicholas Jr. Ulach misses the first, makes the second.
Coach Hooten counters size with size. He says, I see your 6'10 Ulach. I'm bringing my 7'2 Kurbowski, who is by far the largest player on the court now for either team.
There we get a push foul on the outside. It's going to be on Rice. Be his first, and the first foul called against the Aggies. Took 7.5 minutes for a whistle to go against them. And now for the Bearcats, Javon Grant checks in the ball game. Grant, freshman from Pittsburgh, Kansas.
It'll be interesting to see how the freshman deals with some 1-3-1 pressure if New Mexico State stays in that look, but they switch back to man-to-man.
Lampley trying to control, got in the lane. The kick-out pass deflected by Tillman, goes out of bounds, will stay with the Bearcats with 5 to shoot.
Your Sam Houston, you need a quick look here with 5 seconds on the shot clock. I expect Coach Hooten to draw up some sort of play to get DeMarcus Lampley coming off a down screen or a double screen on the weak side here.
They get it in for the 3 ball from the young freshman Grant. How about that?
That's not what he's known for, but hey, with the shot clock running down, let it fly and good things happen. Grant, nothing but net from about 24 feet. A thing of beauty.
Well, he was the player of the year in Kansas last year. Come on. Driving to the basket was Tillman, and he draws the whistle.
Not in Kansas anymore, Tom.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Foul called on Damon Nicholas Jr. We'll have free throws coming up for the Aggies when we come back. Bearcats have been in command from the outset. They lead it by 10 with 11:53 to go here in the opening half. Back here, looking part of the crowd from Las Cruces, New Mexico, traveling into Texas to follow their New Mexico State Aggies here. But so far, their team has gotten off to a rough start. 1 of 11 from the floor, including 0 of 4 from long range.
We talked about Sam Houston's defensive performance on Saturday against SFA, holding the Lumberjacks to just 26% from the floor, 21% from deep. Well, how about this for a start? New Mexico State shooting just 9% from the floor. They haven't made a 3-ball yet. Coach Hooten has to be pleased with this team's defensive effort so far. Donnie
Tillman, senior out of Detroit, transfer from UNLV for the first of 2 free throws. Makes it a 13-4 ball game. Tillman second on the way, and we'll get a friendly roll and go through.
Almost a lane violation there by Powers, who fell forward and touched the paint with 2 hands before the shot went off, but the ball went in, no harm, no foul.
8-point lead for the Bearcats. They go to Kuba Karwowski for the two-hand jam.
An efficient way to break the 1-3-1 pressure by Sam Houston, swinging the ball across the floor. And how about the freshman with the perfect dime to the 7'2" center? Throw it high, let the big man throw it down. He did exactly that.
Locked to the basket, can't get it to go, rattles out, and Lampley will pull the rebound down for the Bearcats.
How about that defensive play there? Karbowski gets the two-handed flush on one end, the forced missed shot on the other end. Quite the sequence there from the 7'2" grad transfer from Poland.
Powers with a powerful three ball.
Another guy Coach Hooten needed to step up and make some big shots tonight is doing just that. Him and Lampley, 2 or 3 from the floor already. Those two have struggled from the floor throughout the season in comparison to what they did last year. But tonight, no issue so far from either of Sam's 2 secondary scorers.
Bearcats 4 of 8 from beyond the arc, part of their 18-5 lead here. Here's Rice out high, hounded closely, and we're going to get a foul on Grant.
It's hard to argue with that defensive pressure, though. Coach Hooten said he wanted his guys to get in New Mexico State's players, make everything uncomfortable offensively for them, and we haven't seen the Aggies get into an offensive set without any resistance yet, which is exactly what Coach Hooten said would be crucial in coming out with a win tonight.
Lock and Tillman will check out. And also checking out, it's going to be Rice. You got McCants back out on the floor along with McNair and Pryor. They return. Lob the inbounds pass from McCants and poked right out of his hands by Tristan Ipe. Racing down the floor, Powers with the Euro step, can't get the finish. And the rebound comes down to Henry, quickly ahead, and with an easy bunny is Pryor. Tough luck for the Bearcats and a good capitalization for the Aggies.
3-on-2 offensive sets are something you have to capitalize on. I had no issue with Powers' shot there. Got to the rim, just couldn't finish, and unfortunately that leads to an easy run out there for the Aggies.
Dante Powers with the dribble, guarded by Pryor. Pryor gets it back from Nicholas. Shot clock at 10 as we approach the mid-May mark of the first half. Powers. Ipe will try and drive through a double team. Lost the ball, got it back, 2 to shoot. Lampley will throw it up, won't get the rim. It'll be a shot clock violation. Good defense by New Mexico State on that possession.
The last time Ipe drove, he was able to use his length. Despite the fact he's only about 6'5", he's got an extremely long wingspan, and he used his length to get the shot over the outstretched arms of New Mexico State's defender. That time, could not get his body into the defender to shield off those long arms, and his shot got deflected, leading to the shot clock violation there by Sam.
Here come the Aggies looking to try and find some offensive momentum. The Bearcat defense has kept them out of that. Here's McCants down low, blocked by Ipe. Was out of bounds, will stay with the Aggies, however, with 16 to shoot.
It was also great weak side help there from Powers, who left his guy in the corner to come down and make that turn as difficult as possible from McCants, who had decent post position on the entry pass from McLeod.
Well, inbound for McNair and get it outside for the 3 ball by Henry, no good. And the rebound taken down by Javion May. Two of 15 through the first 9.5 minutes for New Mexico State. And this is a team that shoots it well on the season at 47%.
It's been a tremendous defensive effort so far, exactly what Coach Hooten and his staff would have idealized heading into this contest. New Mexico State's missed some open looks, but Sam, credit to them, they haven't given New Mexico State anything easy down low, and on the 3-point attempts, they've had a defender with his hand up, making those shots more difficult. And when you do that, it's tough to make shots on the road, a new environment.
Inbounds for Lampley, who buries the 3.
It is not a new environment for Lampley, who's made as many threes here as virtually anybody throughout the Sam Houston program history. And we start hearing the crowd getting into this one here, Tom.
21-7, a 14-point lead for the Bearcats. Under 9 to play here in the first half. Here's Rice. Trying to work off a screen from McCants. Gives it back to him. Now they go down low for McNair with 4 on the shot clock. Back outside, McCants got to put it up and knock it home at the buzzer. Tough shot there by Johnny McCants.
It's a tough shot, but it's another great defensive possession there for Sam, making New Mexico State work all 30 seconds to find an open guy, go inside out, and if the opponent's going to make shots like that after working for 30 seconds, you got to tip your head and give credit where credit's due. But
The feed for Karwowski, and he couldn't quite get it to go. He got it over the top of McNair. Ball just rolled off the rim, but he'll shoot a pair as Will McNair picks up his first foul. Just the second on the Aggies here in the first half.
It's a great look there by Powers, too. Almost like a quarterback throwing to the defensive back's head when it's not turned around. It's exactly what he did to the big man rolling off the pick and roll. And Karnowski, give him credit, didn't finish the play, but athletic enough to go up, catch the rock, and get a shot attempt on rim.
Karwowski, the transfer from Utah State. Free throws have not been friendly for him. That just puts him at 6 of 15 on the season. So it jumps him up to 40%. Has one more here with 8:18 left in the half. And puts 2 in a row calmly home. The Bearcat lead back out to 13. Karwowski comes out, and making his first appearance is Kean Scroggins, the freshman from Raymore, Missouri.
The results aren't there, but the free throw form was not too bad. I'm surprised.
Looked good.
Yeah.
Maybe he's been working on them. So here's Nate Pryor, hounded by Jaden Ray. Rice trying to go baseline on Powers. We're going to get offensive push-off or blocking foul. It's going to be an offensive push-off on Jabari Rice, and that'll be his second, team's third.
12 minutes into the game, neither of New Mexico State's 2 leading scorers has registered a single point yet. A testament to how ferocious the Sam Houston defense has been through the first 2.5 media timeouts.
Rice and Allen are a combined 0 for 4. They've only taken 4 shots. So the Bearcats done a great job of keeping the ball away from those potent scores. Ball almost tipped away. May recovers for the Bearcats, 10 to shoot. Shoot the ball out on the wing. Here is Ray to the basket. Jaden Ray with the floating jump shot. His first points of the night, 25-10. Biggest lead of the ball game for the Bearcats with 7.5 to play.
Give Ipe credit for seeing Ray in the corner as he drove baseline there. It's not often a big has that kind of vision, but it was a beautiful bounce pass that split 2 defenders and gave Ray a chance to beat his closeout for a beautiful little floater from 6 feet away.
There's Teddy Allen. Gives the ball up. They circulate it out to McCants. And McCants with his second 3 ball. And he has 8 of the Aggies' 13 points.
Not what we expected coming off a 41-point performance from Teddy Allen, but McCants is kind of like Draymond Green-esque for this New Mexico State team. Runs the offense, can knock down open shots if left unattended, and so far he's been their most impressive player.
Here's Ipe in the lane. The floater with the left hand too strong. Rebound batted around, and McCants will go high and pull it down. McCants, another 3. This time it's short. Rebound comes down. Ray will take it back the other way and slow things up for the Bearcats. Didn't have the transition, so he waited. Powers for 3. Bullseye! Dante Powers. His second 3 ball in the ball game. Bearcats now 6 of 10 from long range.
The Bearcats live and die with the 3 ball, and right now they are thriving as Powers knocks down his second on 2 attempts, and Sam Houston continues to build a lead here over the leading team in the WAC.
Traveling violation against Marcellus. Avery will give the ball to the Bearcats when we return. 6:20 left here in a big first half for the Bearcats, who lead by 15 over New Mexico State. Back here at Johnson Coliseum, 15-point lead for the Sam Houston Bearcats over the New Mexico State Aggies. To give you an example how this game is going, the Bearcats have made more 3-point shots than New Mexico State has made shots, period.
And New
6 to 4.
New Mexico State is 2 of 8 from 3. Both of those have come from Johnny McCants, who entered this game, Tom, shooting 23% from beyond the arc. He was just 7 of 31. So a guy Coach Hooten wants to be taking threes, is taking threes. He's just made a couple more than his season average would have projected.
Ball poked out of the hands of Tristan Ipe. Will stay with the Bearcats with 20 to shoot. Dante Powers will inbounds from in front of the New Mexico State bench. Put it out near midcourt for Jaden Ray. Now 8 to shoot for the Bearcats. Powers trying to work on Pryor. On the wing, the floater from the left side is good by Jaden Ray. Tough shot by Ray for his second basket of the ball game.
Ray has 2 floaters, and when he shoots jump shots, he shoots with his left hand. Both floaters have come with the offhand, just upping the level of difficulty, but 2 very impressive plays so far from Ray.
A lock who's back in the ball game now. The big 6'11" guy shoots the pass out. Pryor at the top of the arc goes on the wing for Avery. Avery cut off by Powers. 5 to shoot now for the Aggies. Pryor finds McCants at the buzzer for 3. Won't go. Rebound, good block out and rebound by Javion May.
We talked about his athletic prowess before the game. How about the 6'2" May out rebounding the 6'7" Teddy Allen there, boxing him out, using his physical frame to create separation and elevating to grab the board.
Here's Powers for 3, left wing. Oh, he's got another one. That's 3 in the first half for Dante Powers, the junior college transfer from East Mississippi Community College.
And he came off that screen with confidence, Tom. Sometimes a shooter just needs to see one go through the net to get that confidence up. Powers not been super efficient so far this season from beyond the arc, but they're stepping into that shot with confidence and burying it for his 9th point of the first half.
You know, being the junior college transfer, he's trying to get his feet wet in here, and as we pass the halfway mark of the season, Jason Newton says he has found his role on this play. He's comfortable with what he's being asked to do, and you're seeing it here in tonight's ball game. 3 free balls for 9 points to lead all scores.
He was a starter last year, a guy who really facilitated the offense, finding guys like Zach Nuttall and DeMarcus Lampley on the perimeter. Now coming off the bench, he's being asked to score more. And so far in this game, we've seen him pull up with confidence, knocking down 3 of his 4 attempts from beyond the arc.
Chris Jans calling the timeout. Jans is a guy who's not used to being in positions like these. In his 5th year as the head coach of the Aggies, a 77% win percentage. Comes in at 131-39 as a career record.
New Mexico State's been one of the premier mid-major programs in the country. 2 tournament appearances in the last 4 years. Could have been 3 had the 2020 NCAA tournament not been canceled due to COVID. But that timeout right there stops an 8-0 run by Sam, which lasted nearly 2 minutes.
And this is for Sean Cotton, who's in the game. Finds McCants. And they're going to call a blocking foul on Kean Scroggins.
It looked like Scroggins was just inside
Might
the
have been
restricted
inside
area.
the arc, yeah, if we can get to, and hitting the deck hard was McCants, and he is still on the floor.
And McCants gets up with the help from his teammates, but he's clearly shaken up a little bit.
That was quite the collision.
2 large men.
Yeah, you got McCants at 6'7", 230. And you got Scroggins at 6'7", 235. And it looks as though McCants flexing that right wrist, his shooting wrist. So it'll be interesting to see what his form is on these free throws.
It's a good take, though, by McCants. Scroggins just a half step slow and possibly in the restricted area. Couldn't see from my angle exactly where his heels were, but not a bad help.
There were too many bodies in the way for us. I don't know if we get a replay of it or not, but you see McCants still flexing that right hand.
Looks like Coach Jans will sub him out here if the free throw's good, but McCants misses, so he'll have to play with that bum hand for a few minutes here as Coach tries to reset his lineup.
Well, in some regards for New Mexico State, the good news is we're under 4:15 to play, so we have a media timeout coming soon. Here is May in the lane for Scroggins. The floater won't go. We're going to get a foul against a lock, I believe. And Scroggins will shoot free throws with 4:08 here in the first half.
And that play was set up by Powers taking a full effort sprint off his screen to draw the defender out, which allowed that little backdoor pass for Scroggins to slice beneath and get 2 shots at the free throw line. Strong take there by the lefty.
Ian Scroggins makes the first of 2 free throws. Scroggins on the season at 67%. You see McCants come out and Donnie Tillman in. Dante Powers will check out, as will Jaden Ray. And once again back in the ball game for the Bearcats is Javon Grant. Scroggins goes 1 for 2 from the line. 34-13 as we hit the 4-minute mark here in the first half. Who'd have thought this one?
No, a 21-point lead sounds like a lot, but with Allen yet to hit the scoreboard and Jabari Rice yet to make his impact on this game, you need to extend this lead as far as humanly possible, because you know guys that are as talented as those two will make their impact felt at some point. It's just a matter of when, not if.
See Donnie Tillman knock home the three, his first field goal of the ball game. He's got 5 points. Cuts the lead back down to 18. Here is Grant. Feeds it down low for Ipe. Ipe spins around to Locke with the left hand. What a move by Tristan Ipe. Wow.
And that's where the wingspan comes into play, Tom. Ipe at just 6'5", not the biggest post player, but when you have arms as long as his, you can reach around to the other side of the rim and finish where the defender can't even fathom you get to based off your physical stature.
Locke couldn't make the jump hook, and Ipe there for the rebound.
It's like a guard play in the post to finish with that kind of English off the left side of the backboard.
Under 3 to go now here in the first half. Javon Grant feeds Ipe. Ipe on the baseline, offensive foul. Tristan Ipe, his first, brings us to an official's timeout. 2 minutes and 49 seconds left to play here in a big first half for Sam Houston. The Bearcats in command of this ball game by 20 over New Mexico State.
This New Mexico State team has proven to be the class of the WAC so far, but through 17 minutes of this contest, they don't look like they belong on the same court as Sam Houston. Now, a lot can change as we continue this game, but through 17 minutes, it's been a near perfect half so far for the Bearcats.
Allen with the kick out. Henry's three is no good. Long rebound, poked around, and taken by Scroggins.
Another great hustle play by Sam Houston, a 50-50 ball they come up with once again. And everything that's had to break in Sam Houston's favor so far has, which has continued to build upon this 17, 20-point lead.
Jaden Ray running the point, feeds it down low. Ipe will go back outside to Lampley. 5 on the shot clock. Lampley from long range, rattles in and out, no good. And Teddy Allen will take the rebound, and a silly foul by Kean Scroggins. That was unnecessary.
Not just unnecessary, but that puts New Mexico State at the free throw line, gives Allen a chance to see the ball go through the net for the first time tonight, and a scorer of his ability just needs to see one shot go through to open the green light, as he's the third leading scorer in the WAC. Not something Sam Houston needed, especially 93.5 feet from the bucket.
Karwowski will come in for Scroggins, and good to see Johnny McCants has checked back in for New Mexico State as Ulach will sit down.
McCants had those fingers taped prior to his fall earlier, so that's not any new bandage he has wrapped on, but he does look like he's done shaking out that right hand. Hopefully he's been able to find.
Well, they've got a wrap around the wrist, and I think that's where it was more was in the wrist than in the fingers. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Allen's free throw is no good. Ball deflected out of bounds, and will be long to the Bearcats. Boy, oh boy, how about Teddy Allen? 0 for 3 from the field, 0 for 2 from long range, 0 for 1 from the free throw line. This coming after a game in which he was 13 to 20 from the field, 6 of 11 from three-point, and 9 of 11 from the free throw line on his way to 41 points against ACU.
He shoots 89% from the free throw line, so a very rare miss there from Allen, who's struggling so far to find his offensive rhythm. But credit Sam Houston and especially Javion May for making his life unbelievably difficult so far through 18.5 minutes.
And offensive foul right there on Javion May as he put his shoulder into Nate Pryor and picks up his second foul. That's 10th foul against the Bearcats. Because of the offensive foul, there will be no free throws. So you got to be careful. Flagg has got 2, May has got 2, Scroggins has 2 for the Bearcats. Something to keep an eye on for the second half. May will come out, Powers will come back in.
Maybe one of the most impressive parts of this 20-point lead for Sam Houston is the majority of the work's been done with Flagg on the bench with those 2 fouls.
Exactly. He got the first 2 baskets of the game with those 2 3-pointers and hasn't been a factor since about 90 seconds in.
He hasn't played since the 15-minute mark, and Sam Houston's continued to build up their lead without their leading scorer.
3 ball out top, no good by Tillman. And the rebound once again comes down to Sam Houston.
Another great gang rebound there by Sam Houston. Karwowski blocked out the big man, let the guard come under and grab the board, something that this team's going to continue to have to do in the second half to avoid a letdown.
Jason Newton will call a 30-second timeout here with 1:09 to go. You know, the teams get 4 timeouts in a ball game, and if they don't use one in the first half, they lose it. They can only carry 3 over. So earlier in the ball game, when one of the Sam Houston runs was going on, Chris Jans used one of his, but Jason Newton saying here, I'm down here to a minute. I got a chance maybe for 2 possessions in this last 69 seconds worth of play for 2 scores here. Let's set things up for my team.
Might as well get the best shot possible with so few possessions left in the half. You have a chance to draw up the exact play you want here. Maybe throw in a junk defense, a zone, change it up on the defensive end of the court. You can talk about it in the huddle. And once again, it's a use it or lose it timeout, so Coach Newton making the most of what he's given from a coaching perspective here to allow his team the best opportunity to capitalize on the final 69 seconds of the half.
Interesting stat. We were talking about Teddy Allen. Teddy Allen was 13 of 20 from the field in that game against ACU. Right now, the Bearcats are 13 of 20 from the field.
Sometimes it happens like that, and on the flip side, New Mexico State's just 5 of 23.
They floated up for Karowski with the putback. Great pass by Ipe to set up his fellow big man. 6 for Karowski, and it's a 22-point lead for the Bearcats.
It's one thing for a guard to throw a lob for the alley-oop. How about the big-to-big alley-oop? You don't see that very often in the NBA, even less infrequently in mid-major college basketball.
Almost a turnover by Tillman. Allen trying to go baseline, cut off by Powers. Allen got to the basket and finally got one in.
That's a great move by Allen, who would not be denied from getting to the bucket on that one, spinning around Powers and finishing over the 7'2" Polish defender in the paint. Really nice play there, showing why he's the 3rd leading scorer in the WAC.
Down to 15 seconds here in the half, and the Bearcats will take the final shot. May will try and get him in the offense. Force way out high. Shot clock now down to 7. Here's Lampley on the left wing. He'll give it to Ipe. He'll shoot it. Won't come up short. Didn't get the play that they wanted. Good defense by New Mexico State to prevent any further damage in what has been a sensational 20 minutes for the Sam Houston Bearcats. They shoot 14 of 22 from the field, 7 of 13 from long range, and have built up a 20-point advantage over the New Mexico State Aggies here at the intermission. Mike and I back with halftime activities from Johnson Coliseum in Huntsville following these messages.
As they completely stymied anything the Aggies were looking to do offensively.
So the Bearcats with the first possession. Savion Flagg back in the game. He'll try the 3 to get things started. That one's short. That might have had a finger put on it. They fight for the loose ball on the floor. What are we going to call here? We're going to call on, oh, they're going to call Javion May. Oh, wow. And that's May's 3rd foul, and he's the guy in charge of guarding Teddy Green. Let's see what he does here.
I'm not quite sure about that there. That looked like a hustle play. If anything, say May touched it while he was out of bounds, but a personal foul 15 seconds into the half, I don't know if I agree with that one.
But that is the decision nonetheless. So here's Nate Pryor back to try and get the point and try and get the offense going for New Mexico State. A horrendous 6 of 24 from the field in the first half. Teddy Green with 1 field goal. It came in the closing seconds. He'll launch a 3. It's no good. Rebound. McCants fights for it. Can he keep it in bounds? He does. But it's taken by Ipe and getting a foul over the back on McNair.
The phenomenal defensive effort for Sam continues. Tom, in the last 2 first halves, Sam has held its opponents to a combined 30 points on 21.5% shooting against SFA on Saturday. The Lumberjacks scored 12 points in the first half on 5 of 27. New Mexico State in this one, 18 points on 6 of 24 shooting. A combined 30 points in 40 minutes of basketball in the last 2 first halves for Sam. Unbelievable defensive effort by Coach Hooten's team.
And not against also-ran teams, against elite caliber teams in Stephen F. Austin and New Mexico State.
2 of the
Little
best teams
jump
in the
hook
WAC.
by Flagg is good.
I love that offensive set. Flagg, who took his first 4 jump shots from the left wing, takes a little back screen there from Ipe, finds his way to the opposite block, and finishes with a beautiful touch from about 8 feet away.
Rice's turnaround 15-footer is no good, and May will pull down the rebound for the Bearcats. And like we've been saying almost all night long, one and dones for New Mexico State.
Unbelievable. They've missed 20 shots, and Sam has 17 rebounds, which means, oh, great back cut.
Backdoor cut by Lampley for the finish.
Flagg's passing ability may be his most underrated asset. We know what he can do scoring the ball. He's 19.8 points per game, 2nd in the WAC. We know what he can do rebounding the ball, also 2nd in the WAC. But at Texas A&M, he was their main facilitator from the high post. and that's what he says is his biggest asset on the court. So nice to see him use his vision, especially with that 6'7" height. Tom, he can see over smaller defenders to find beautiful alleys to make passes, just like we saw there to DeMarcus Lampley.
In the switch, they got McNair on a shorter man. He'll kick it out. Pryor's three is no good, and the rebound comes into the arms of Jaden Ray, and another one and done.
A contested three-point look there from New Mexico State. Once again, we can only say it so many times, but those are the exact type of shots Coach Hooten wants his defense to allow, and he'll live with New Mexico State taking as they try to cut away at this 24-point lead.
27 shots for New Mexico State, only 5 offensive rebounds. Shows you how the one and done has worked so well for Sam Houston. Ipe to the basket with the left hand is denied, but there's a foul, and it's on Teddy Allen, his first.
Once again, another great pass there by Flagg, who drew the double team on the left block. Ipe saw his defender leave to go double Flagg, slipped right to the rim, and Flagg found him with a nice chest pass.
Chris Jans with a couple of words for Nate Pryor, trying to get his point guard to see if he can sync up this offense and get it going. First trip to the line for Ipe in tonight's ball game on the season, coming in shooting at 54%. Javion May will sit down with those 3 fouls. Dante Powers, who had 9 points in the first half on three balls, comes back in. 2 for 2 for Ipe from the stripe.
The first few minutes of a second half, always crucial when you have a lead. That's the time for New Mexico State to reestablish what they want to do. Sam, to prove that that first 20 minutes wasn't a fluke, and the Bearcats have come out and outscored New Mexico State 6-0 in the first 2.5 minutes here.
Down low in the lane, the jump hook by McNair no good. He fights for his own rebound and gets the putback. And Chris Jans wants a timeout, and it's going to be a full timeout. So give the basket to McNair. Make it a 44-20 ball game, and we will take the timeout on the floor with them. Sam Houston has been in control from the outset, scoring the first 10 points of the game and have not looked back thus far in Huntsville. And you're back here at Johnson Coliseum in Huntsville, where Sam Houston has picked up where they left off at halftime and extended their lead out to 24 points. That's 44-20 with 17:09 left to play against the New Mexico State team that was riding high on a 10-game winning streak coming into today's game. 15-2 on the season and 4-0 in league play.
New Mexico State comes out with a little full court pressure out of the timeout, but Sam Houston no problem getting through it now. Only 17 seconds on the shot clock to set up the offense, though.
Here's Flagg. He'll fire from 3. Front iron no good. Skying in for the rebound is McNair.
A good look there from Flagg. Stepped in with confidence, left it a little short. But overall, that's a shot you live with for the WAC second leading scorer. Well,
his 2 3-pointers this half have both been short. Corner 3, in and out, and no good by Tillman. Back the other way come the Bearcats. Down low for Flagg. Couldn't get the finish, but he's fouled from behind and takes the spill to the floor.
Unselfish play there by Sam. Flagg gave it up to Lampley. Lampley gives it right back to Flagg, who is in a better position to score from underneath the block. And Savion goes up strong, gets fouled, headed to the free throw line for 2 attempts.
Donnie Tillman with the foul, his first. Savion Flagg will go to the free throw line for the first time tonight. 46% from the field, 39% from long range, but just 44% from the free throw line. This one will not go.
It's one of those numbers, Tom, that makes absolutely no sense. Shooting almost as well from the three-point line as you do from the free throw line. At this point, it's all mental for Savion, who knows he can make free throws. He just has to find the confidence there from the charity strike.
Clayton Henry back in for Nate Pryor. We check that for Jabari Rice. 1 out of 2 for Flagg from the line. He now has 9 points to equal Dante Powers for team lead and game lead for scorers in this contest. The lead is back out to 25 points for Sam Houston.
Interesting, we don't see Jabari Rice on the floor here for New Mexico State. You'd assume having their second leading scorer on the court who's not in foul trouble when it's just a 25-point deficit would be something you'd see as Lampley.
Bad pass, Lampley missed the 3, but Powers is there for the rebound. Shoots it into Ipe. Oh my goodness.
The southpaw with authority right down Main Street. The Red Sea parted, and Ipe made New Mexico State pay.
They get a foul on Powers. Too much body against Teddy Allen. It'll be Powers' first and bring us to the officials' timeout at under 16 minutes to go. 15:52 to play, and it's still all Sam Houston tonight in Huntsville. You expected after shooting at 62% in the first half and 14 at 22 that Sam Houston would cool off a little bit. Well, they have. They're 3 of 6 in the half for 50%. However, you didn't expect the deep freeze for New Mexico State to continue as they continue to have a hard time putting the ball in the hole. 1 of 6 here in the second half. And on the game, they are just 7 of 30 from the floor.
It's just an impressive defensive effort and, frankly, a bit of a disappointing offensive effort from New Mexico State. You know, sometimes shots just don't fall, but overall the quality of looks they're getting is something that I have to believe leaves Coach Jans with a little to be desired.
Green misses the 3. Bearcats with another rebound. They go inside to Ipe, going to be an offensive foul. They say that Henry had established his position. Tristan Ipe with his second foul.
Ipe did lower the shoulder a bit. It may have been a bit of a sell job by New Mexico State, but when you lower your shoulder, you're leaving it up in the hands of the referee who decided that it was enough contact to warrant the whistle.
Well, when you have a bigger guy against a smaller guy and the smaller guy hits the floor, he doesn't have to exaggerate much.
And Ipe's not a small, not strong guy. He's pretty built.
He is very solid. Here's Donnie Tillman trying to work against Savion Flagg. 10 to shoot for the Aggies. Tillman, no place to go, has to go back outside for Henry with 5 to shoot. Henry will put up a forced three-pointer, no good. Did hit rim, avoided the shot clock violation, but the Bearcats track down the rebound and take it away for Sam Houston.
There's just no rhythm offensively to what New Mexico State's trying to accomplish here with some of these sets. Whether it's Sam Houston taking them completely out of what they want to do and or just lack of execution, it's just not coherent and cohesive so far with what we're accustomed to seeing from the Aggies.
Savion Flagg for the top of the arc. Puts home his third 3-ball of the ball game. He's the first player from either team in double figures. He's got a dozen.
Hand down, man down. New Mexico State didn't put a hand up to block out the vision of Savion Flagg, daring him almost to take that 3, and he delivers with his third long ball of this contest.
Nate Pryor driving to the basket, drew a foul. Jaden Ray will get the foul. It'll be his second.
If shots aren't going to fall, you have to get to the rim, draw contact, and get to the free throw line to try and chip away at this lead. It also stops the clock, which gives you more time to eventually overcome this 30-point deficit, because right now nothing from the perimeter seems to be falling for the team from Las Cruces.
Well, the best thing New Mexico State can do is score without the clock moving. But Nate Pryor misses the first of 2 free throws. Pryor on the season now just 1 of 6 from the stripe.
It's easy to talk about getting to the free throw line, but
you have to take advantage when you get there.
And so far, they're only 3 of 7 from the charity strike, which is not the number you'd like to see.
Pryor from Seattle, Washington, does get the second one to go through the hoop. 50-21 is our score. 14-15 left in the game. Again, full court pressure for the Aggies, trying to get the Bearcats out of their rhythm, but so far, not effective.
Flagg's the ultimate press breaker with his size from the power forward position, and his ability to see over the double team and find the open man as an outlet is really a beneficial thing for Coach Hooten's team.
Javon Grant, who came in during that free throws, he's running the point now and with the ball on the right sideline. Down low they go. Baseline jumper is no good by Ipe, but the rebound, Dante Powers. To Flagg for 3, not this time, but Ipe's got the rebound, back to Flagg, now Powers. That one will go. Dante Powers, 4th long ball of the ball game. Ties Flagg for scoring honors with a dozen apiece.
And what a couple minutes here for Powers. He had the offensive rebound that led to the Ipe dunk a few possessions ago. There, the offensive rebound leads to another offensive rebound for an open 3-point shot, which he connects with his 4th of the game so far.
Donnie Tillman muscling his way in between bodies for the and 1 and drawing the 3rd foul against Savion Flagg.
Sam's attacking the offensive glass with a ferocity we haven't seen for much of the season from them. If there's a missed shot, there's at least 2 white jerseys flying to the basketball, and that's been a major difference in this game so far, as Sam, despite being the undersized team, has out-rebounded New Mexico State by 7 at this point.
Donnie Tillman to try and complete the 3-point play does for New Mexico State. He has 8 points in the contest. 53-24 is our count with 13-18 to play. You mentioned how hard Sam Houston is rebounding. hard to believe when you look at the stat sheet they only have 3 offensive rebounds. That doesn't sound right.
It doesn't feel right, but all 3 of them have led to big buckets for Sam, which makes each one of them that much more important. And despite being a bit undersized, Sam is one of the best rebounding teams in the country as far as rebounding rates concerned. As New Mexico State goes to a little 3-2 zone here to throw them off offensively, it doesn't matter.
Flagg with another 3-ball, this one from the right corner. He's got 15.
Patience was the key there for Sam. They break the press. They see New Mexico State in the little 3-2 zone defense. They don't panic. They run their set, and Flagg finds the pocket in the corner for the open 3-ball.
Tillman again in the lane. This time travels. Bearcats are 10 of 20 from long range. Those 30 points are more than New Mexico State has in the game at 24.
10 3-balls versus 8 total field goals for New Mexico State so far. When you've played nearly 28 minutes of basketball and you have more threes than they have made field goals, the score will most likely favor you significantly. And as we see right now, a 32-point lead is quite the deficit right now for the Aggies.
Here's Grant running the point. Finds Flagg down low against Tillman. He'll turn and face up from 15.
Flagg is starting to feel it, talking a little trash as he runs back down the court. Face up the defender who, for the 3rd time in a row, has not put a hand up to negate that shot attempt, and Flagg just making the lazy defense pay.
Teddy Allen drops it down low, and from down on the baseline, Nate Pryor, small man, down low with a little teardrop basket.
That was the first time we've seen Allen get into the paint, though, and kind of get to the spot he wanted to get to make an offensive play, and he's one of the best players in the WAC. We see that on that play for that exact reason. Can make others better as well as scoring himself.
Flagg shoots the ball cross court in the corner. Lampley buries the 3. My goodness, what a shooting display for this Bearcat team.
Sam Houston is absolutely on fire right now. They're shooting 52% from beyond the arc against one of the top defensive teams in the conference. On your best imagination and your wildest dreams, I don't think anyone could have seen Sam making 11 3-pointers in 28 minutes of action compared to New Mexico State's 9 total field goals.
Ball tapped out of bounds. Last touch by the Bearcats will belong to New Mexico State when we return. 11:22 to play here in Huntsville, and it has been a Bearcat bonanza so far tonight. Sam Houston Bearcats have had things all their own way in tonight's ball game, paced by 17 points from Savion Flagg. You see there at the bottom of the screen. They own a 61-26 lead over New Mexico State. 11:22 to play in the ball game. Bearcats, as Mike alluded to earlier, are ranked 4th nationally with 744 rebounds total coming into today's game, and they've already tacked on 24 more boards to that total so far.
It's been a total team effort in that regard too, Tom, as despite being undersized, we've seen 5 white jerseys fly to the basketball anytime it hits the rim, which has led to some 50-50 balls going their way and continuing to build this rebound margin.
Tristan Ipe guilty of the foul against Uat Olak. And Olak will go to the free throw line for the 2nd time in the ball game. Missed his first, but have now made 2 since then. Kuba Karwowski will check in. And Ipe, who's been a force on both sides of the floor for Sam Houston, will take a seat with those 3 fouls. Olak goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line. He now has 3 points in the game. Again, pressure defense for the Aggies. They try and get Sam Houston out of rhythm, but they break it. Dante Powers will sit and leave it for Javon Grant. The young freshman will run the point. Shot clock down to 5. Grant better do something. He finds Flagg in the corner. Oh, yeah. 20 points for Savion Flagg in the ball game. Every game he has played, he's been in double figures. Steal by Grant. He will try and take it against Green. Reverse layup won't go.
At this point, why would you leave Flagg? He's the one player on Sam that you cannot help off of. And the defender, I'm not sure who it was on that possession, got lazy, took a step towards the paint to help the drive from Grant, leaving Flagg open in the corner. The freshman made a beautiful dime to find his shooter, who knocks down his 5th 3-pointer of the contest.
call the foul on Karwowski. I would like to see the replay to see where Karwowski was guilty of the foul, because there was definitely a moving screen set by a lock that took out the Sam Houston defender, Grant.
I wonder if Karwowski bumped the walk
into
that. But
that could be the only way. Jaden Ray will come in for Grant.
Impressive minutes from the freshman, though, from Kansas. Once again, playing under control, finding the open shooter in the corner with Flag a few possessions ago, and not being shaken
as the clock went down.
Nope, not being shaken by the pressure either, which is impressive for such a young player.
Fight for the rebound, and who are they going to call this one on? Karwowski was on the floor. And it's going to be on 23. That's LeVar Williams, who has just checked into the ball game. Sophomore transfer from Indian Hills Community College.
Coach Jans is asking for a replay or review of some sort. I'm not quite sure. But he looks perplexed. There's a perplexed look on his face here.
Yes, you can see he's got his arms crossed. So watch here. You know, Karwowski's left arm is tucked under the right arm of Williams, and that's why he couldn't get to the ball.
It was tough to tell from that angle if Karwowski was holding Williams, if Williams was holding Karwowski.
But that's what it was. It was Karwowski's left arm was tucked underneath the right arm of Williams. So our officiating crew of Eric Anderson, Dan Nowakowski, and Brad Gustin will take a look at the replay monitor, and we'll come up with at least a consensus decision here as to what we're seeing. Right now, we take a look at Sammy the Bearcat having a good time tonight, as are all the Bearcat fans.
And his arm's almost chicken wing underneath LeVar Williams there, and it's impossible to tell how it started, but.
Yeah, that replay doesn't quite pick up early enough to see where it started. Our crew will try and back it up a little bit more if they can. The officials taking a look over there at their replay monitor, which is across the way at the official scorers table.
And the initial foul was called on Williams.
So you have to have indisputable evidence to overturn it. Now Eric Anderson will go over and tell Chris Jans what he thinks after looking at the replay. Again, you can see them tied up. Karwowski corralling the ball with one arm.
It's an interesting play. You just don't see that kind of wrestle for the ball too often from that angle. And here comes the referee to hopefully tell us what's going on.
So I think PA announcer has said we're going to stand. What do we got here?
Thank you.
So there you are. The explanation is Coach Jans wanted a little bit more. He wanted something on Karwowski, but there was nothing there to prove that Karwowski was doing something out of the ordinary. Oh, there's the lob for Flag on the back door. Oh, my goodness.
And what a back screen there by Lampley. They've been running that set all night where Flag sets the pick for Lampley to come off the down screen. This time they reverse it. They catch New Mexico State sleeping off the timeout review, and Flag throws down the alley-oop.
LeVar Williams with a three ball from the right corner off the bench for New Mexico State to answer. And it's 66-31 with 9.5 to play. Lampley for three, won't get it to go.
I love seeing Lampley step into that shot with confidence, though. He's already made a couple from deep so far, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc. But he's been struggling this season, so to see him step in with confidence has to be a good sign for Sam Houston moving forward.
He looks like a different ball player today. He looks like he's got the old DeMarcus Lampley look on his face.
He has his swag back.
So here's Williams in the lane to the basket, dropped it outside. Three ball from the right wing is good from Mario McKinney Jr.
Back-to-back three-pointers here from New Mexico State. You know, at some point a good team's going to punch back. This is New Mexico State's run. It's going to come down to, can Sam weather the storm and continue to play good quality basketball as New Mexico State chips away.
Little half-court zone pressure. 2-3 is where they're lining up right now. 10 seconds to shoot for the Bearcats. Jaden Ray gives it off to Flagg. This one's short. Rebound comes into the arms of Marcellus Avery.
It's a good defensive possession by New Mexico State, but despite the air ball, Sam Houston still used almost the entirety of the shot clock there. And frankly, there's just not a ton of time left here for the Aggies to make a comeback. It's gonna have to start quick. Long
rebound to Mike Peak. He gives it off to Alak. Alak guarded by Karwowski. Back out to McKinney, who had the three the last time down the floor. McKinney through the lane. The floating 10-footer is good with the left hand. Mario McKinney with a couple of buckets here for the Aggies off the bench.
Impressive touch from the sophomore to get that over the outstretched arms of Karwowski, who is a legitimate 7'2" with an extremely long wingspan. Not an easy shot there for the redshirt sophomore.
Again, a little zone pressure. Try and take the Bearcats out of their rhythm. 10 seconds to shoot. In the corner, got the three on the way, off the glass, no good by Powers. The rebound into the arms of McKinney. Bearcats look a little disheveled on offense the last couple of times down the floor. Here's Avery for three. It won't go. Flying in for the rebound was Powers.
The zone has absolutely disrupted Sam's offensive rhythm, but at the same time, it's still a 30-point game with 7 minutes left, and if Sam's content to work the shot clock down, there's only so many possessions New Mexico State will get. I'm not sure if sitting in the zone is the best way. I think more appropriately we turn up the pressure, try and force some turnovers, and increase the number of possessions they'll get before the end of the game.
May through traffic, hit the floor, kept the ball, passed out. May's got it, ripped it away from McKinney. The foul will be on Mario McKinney. And it'll bring us to an official's timeout. 6:55 to play here in Huntsville. And the Bearcats on their way to breaking the New Mexico State 10-game winning streak. Shoot the inbounds out high for Flagg. Pump fake. Gonna drive. The drive and dish. May won't take the shot. He'll come back outside instead. Here's the three ball, rims in and out, no good for Jaron Cook, who's making his first appearance of the game, but the Bearcats get a second chance.
Sam hasn't scored in over 3 minutes now. Their last bucket came off that alley-oop to Savion Flagg. With a 30-point lead at this point, points aren't the necessity. It's running the clock out. That is what Sam has to do.
Tried to run the pick and roll between Ray and Karwowski, and the ball deflected and taken away on the turnover by the Aggies. Marcellus Avery on the baseline. Tough shot off the glass, no good. And the rebound comes down to Javion May.
Another terrific defensive possession there for the Bearcats. On the season, New Mexico State is averaging 77 points per game. Their fewest in any contest so far this year. 58 with just 6 minutes to play. They're sitting at 36, on pace to go far below both of those numbers.
Karwowski gives to May. May tried to go the give and go, and the ball gets knocked free. Kick ball is going to stay, and the Bearcats will keep it. Tristan Ipe will come back in for the Bearcats.
Tough pass to make there by Ray. You have to really bounce the ball hard off the floor to get it into the hands of a 7'2" cutter, but hit the foot, no harm, no foul as Sam Houston keeps possession.
They get it inbounds to Flagg, and now for May. May back to Flagg. In and out on the three, no good. The rebound comes to the arms of Vershawn Cotton, junior college transfer from LIU. Cotton played a couple of minutes in the first half. A lock. Whoa, the big man with a three. How about that?
That's not something that was in the scouting report. It's something he did particularly well, Tom, but that looks pretty good. And his free throw stroke also looks pretty good. Maybe he's got a little more touch than the stat sheet indicates.
Well, with that made three, he is 5 of 10 from long range.
That's a good percentage.
I'd take it.
It's hard to fathom at this point, though, that New Mexico State's two leading scorers, Allen and Rice, have combined for 2 points in this contest on just 1 of 8 shooting. And I believe they're done for the day. I'd be shocked to see them come back unless something drastic happens.
To the basket with the right hand was Avery and denied, and back come the other way are the Bearcats. Man, oh man, you've got to like the interior defense that this Sam Houston team has put up in today's game.
You may beat your first defender on the perimeter, but there's 2 more Bearcats waiting for you in the paint.
Ball almost poked away from Jaden Ray. Still got the dribble with 10 to shoot. In the lane, got body contact from Avery. That'll be the 6th team foul. So it'll be free throws after this for the Bearcats.
Ray was patient. Let the defense run around, let the shot clock run down, worked into his set, and eventually drew a foul.
Officials wanted to make sure that it was not the 7th foul, it was the 6th. So Mario McKinney will come in, and the lock will sit down. He got his 3 ball.
I think it's all 5 starters officially out of the game now for New Mexico State.
Flag rims the 3 ball in and out, no good. And Cotton tipped the rebound and able to control before it went out of bounds. Up on the sideline, this is Peak, no good from 3. And another 1 and done for New Mexico State.
It's worth mentioning, Tom, with that last bucket by New Mexico State, they finally have more field goals in this game than Sam Houston has 3-pointers. So it took, my math is correct,
16 minutes.
36 minutes into game time, but they finally eclipsed that number.
3:45 to go. Jaden Ray will launch the 3. No good. Rebound fought for by Ipe, and he might have gotten a foul over the back.
Yeah, it came across the arm of the New Mexico State rebounder. Easy call, which leads us to another media timeout.
Ipe will get the foul. It'll be his 4th. It'll send New Mexico State to the free throw line when we return. 3 minutes, 39 seconds to go in this one. Sam Houston on their way to a 6th win in 7 Western Athletic Conference. 3 minutes, 39 seconds to play. Sam Houston Bearcats lead at 66-39 despite not having scored since just under 10 minutes to play in this ball game, Mike.
And they're still up 27 points, which is just a testament to how well they played in the first 30 minutes of this contest, that despite the fact they're on the wrong side of an 11-0 run, haven't scored in 6 minutes and 3 seconds, they still lead by 27 points.
Marcellus Avery makes the front end of the 1-1 and will shoot 1 more. A number to show you how good the Sam Houston offense has been in today's ball game. They have 24 made field goals, and on those 24 made field goals, they have 20 assists.
That's unselfish play. That's proper execution offensively, and that's making the extra pass when needed, turning down a good shot for a great shot, which leads to high percentage looks from across the board.
And that is putting a huge amount of pressure on the opposing defense when you move the ball that well.
It gives an extra rotation to the backside defenders, and when you're running 8 feet to get the secondary helper as opposed to 2 feet on the first helper, there's just more time for the shooter to get set and let it fly.
May with a great behind-the-back move, couldn't get the finish from 10 feet out. And the scoring drought continues for the Bearcats as we approach 3 minutes to play in this one.
He made that exact same move on the right side in the first half. Just missed it there, but that's a really good look. It's May with the steal.
By Javion May. He will take it to the basket. That should be goaltending and 1. Going to be a foul on Williams with the body foul, and then should be a goaltending on McKinney, who is the trailer. Basket is good. The foul on McKinney.
Javion May was our HEB player to watch prior to the game. That's his first points of the contest, but his impact has been felt throughout the game defensively, shutting down Teddy Allen and Jabari Rice. They're making the steal, going coast to coast for the and 1 opportunity.
Well, that was his first field goal try.
1 for 1. That's efficiency at its finest.
Indeed. Damon Nicholas will check in. And Savion Flagg will sit down with 22 points in the ball game. 3 assists, only 1 rebound tonight.
Weren't many misses for him to clean up.
Free throw won't go for May. So it remains a 68-41 game with 2:50 left.
One of the most underrated talents in basketball is knowing your role, and I think that's the most impressive part of May's game. He knows exactly what Coach Hooten needs from him and to help this team win. He doesn't stray from the plan, and he executes it to the highest of abilities.
Foul on Javon Grant. 19th foul for the Bearcats, so it'll be another 1-on-1 situation for the Aggies. For Sean Cotton. 9 out of 10 from the stripe so far this season. And with that stroke, you can see why.
Pretty looking effortless free throw shot there from Cotton as New Mexico State tries to find something late in this contest to take some momentum heading into Saturday's game.
Made them both. 68-43. With 2:40 to go now. Bearcats want to use their 6th player, and that is the clock. They don't need any more points to win this ball game. Just take it down as best they can. Rotate that ball around. See if you can get an open look somewhere. Tried to see if they got Scroggins on the back door. It was cut out, so they keep it outside. 7 to shoot. Grant will hit the 3 from out top. Second 3-ball of the ball game for Javon Grant.
And this kid has a chance to be a real player. He continues to impress me with his patience and feel for the moment. Knew the shot clock was winding down. Saw the defender go under the screen, stop, pop, take an open jumper, and drain it.
Aggies had a couple of chances but couldn't cash in. We're under 2 minutes to play now. And again, Grant, who knows what he's supposed to do out here. Milk the clock. Go like you're playing for the last shot of the ball game or the last shot of the half. Puts the offense in motion, spinning, almost lost it, kicked it outside, and could not get it away. Nicholas hit the 3-ball, but it was just after the buzzer. If he didn't fumble that ball right at the end of his dribble, they would have had that.
And I love Coach Hooten there after the shot clock violation. Looked at Nichols, says, great shot, give the freshman some confidence. Stepped into it with ease, drilled it. Sometimes you can't control the clock. The fumble wasn't on him. But nice to see the freshman stepping in with confidence and pulling the trigger.
Javion May checks out as Kevin Martina, freshman out of Geneva, Switzerland, is in for the Bearcats. He went for the block there. The foul's not on him. I think it's going to be on Scroggins. No, they called it on Nicholas.
Sometimes you just chalk it up to a bad game, and for New Mexico State, clearly just not their A performance tonight.
No.
Far below their numbers across the board, 28% from the floor, 23 from 3, just 65 from the free throw line. Not what they're accustomed to seeing. And if you're rebounding from this as a New Mexico State fan or player, this is a game you put in the rearview mirror and immediately turn your attention towards Saturday's contest. Try to find something to get you back on rhythm.
Avery missed the front end and the second free throw. We get a foul as an Aggie hit the deck.
Pushing the back on the rebound there.
It's going to be on Martina on the blockout. That's going to send Mike Peak, 6'7" sophomore from transfer from Austin Peay to the free throw line.
On the flip side of what we're saying about New Mexico State, this is a game that you can take and build confidence from if you're Sam Houston, shooting 53, 45, and 68 from the line across the board. If you play with this type of intensity and confidence offensively, there's not a team in the WAC that they can't not only compete with, but beat on any given night.
When I spoke with Chris Jans yesterday, one of the things he told me is, he said, despite our record, 1 out of 2 for Peak, who chases down his own rebound, he says, we're nowhere near playing at our best. He says, we're not even playing at our January best. And you know, coaches like to have their teams continue to improve as the season goes on. A little finger roll with the right hand by Avery is no good, but he was fouled as we've got 61 seconds to play. The foul is on Scroggins. But I don't think he meant his team would play like this in today's ball game.
No, January best, September best. This is just not a performance you want to remember. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I have to imagine this is one of the worst regular season losses, or any loss for that matter, of Chris Jans' career. New Mexico State and his teams are phenomenally well coached. They perform unbelievably well throughout the regular season and the postseason, and performances like this just don't happen too frequently for a team of that caliber.
2 free throws that time for Avery, who has 4 points, all from the stripe. 71-46. 45 seconds left in this game as Grant dribbling out the clock. Got it down to 10. Leaves it for Cook. Jaron Cook with 5 on the clock. The floater is no good. Didn't draw iron by Grant, but it brings the game clock down to 30 seconds and accomplishes part of the mission.
Sam Houston was the underdog heading into this game. Prohibited favorite New Mexico State just did not live up to expectations in this one, as Sam Houston proves that as they go through this WAC schedule for the first time, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in any venue on any given night.
Long range 3 on the way by McKinney, no good. Rebound comes down into the arms of Nicholas Jr. He will give it up to Grant. Grant just has to get into the front court, and this ball game will be over. Well, in back-to-back ball games, the Sam Houston Bearcats have held Stephen F. Austin and New Mexico State to a combined 87 points. How's that for defense?
That is defense at its finest. Sometimes it's a mix of bad shooting, but always credit the defense for making those shots more difficult than they have to be. Sam Houston, time and time again, contesting strong, forcing extra passes from New Mexico State, making them go to their second and third options, and we can't say how impressive it is once again to hold Teddy Allen and Jabari Rice, a tandem that averages 31 points per game, to just 2 in this contest.
Held it to 2 points, and the 2 of those guys, Rice and Allen, only took 8 shots in the game and connected on 1. One of those 8 shots.
Rice barely played in the second half. He was a non-factor, and Allen's only bucket came in the final 30 seconds of the first half when the defense was scrambling. It was a nice spin move by Allen, but all in all, this defensive effort, especially from Javion May and DeMarcus Lampley, the 2 primary defenders on those 2,